Hey everybody, so we have here a Surface ProBook, I believe, laptop. I believe it's called the ProBook. Yep, it's a Surface Pro book laptop, and for some reason the hinge won't come off here. We tried many times, tried charging and everything, but there's a little hinge problem here. But we're not really worried about that today. What we're worried about is getting in here and getting the hard drive. So what you want to do for this is, since it's completely sealed, the only way to get to the hard drive is to remove the glass. We don't really need to preserve the glass because we just really want the data. That's all we're really focused on because the client doesn't really care. He just wants his data, doesn't really want to fix the machine. So what we're going to do is remove the glass today, and I'm going to show you how fun it is. So let's get started. So what you want to do when you have these, it would be ideal to actually remove this, but for some reason, I don't know if it's some sticky or if the mechanism totally failed, but this will not come up, especially after you press the button. And we have to charge for a little bit because usually you get like a little green light there that helps push it on. But we're going to go see what we can do. For any of these Surface laptops, any of these Surface books, the Surface laptops, anything, the glass is very important to be careful of, especially if you're going to be putting it back. It's very, very easy to damage these, like very, very easy. So what you want to really do is put a lot of heat around there and just do the best you can to remove it. So we're going to be doing that today. And all I'm going to be doing is just heating this whole thing with a lot of heat. And you just really want to go around the bezel here because that's really the best you can do. You go around there and the glass should come up. It's going to be a little bit more difficult here because this thing is stuck. So I'm going to have more difficulty, especially towards the bottom here. We'll worry about that last because that's going to be the hardest part. So I'm just going to go up around here, just try to heat it up and see. Alright, so I heated it for quite a bit, and let's see if I can make any type of progress here. So I want to find an opening. It might be best to start with the speaker there because there's a little bit of an opening. Now, to fix anything on any type of repairs with this, you always have to move the screen. No matter if you fix the motherboard, any liquid damage, anything, the screen has to come up because it's the only way you can work on it. So in this case, the laptop is completely dead, so let's see what we can find in here. I have a little bit of a gap there, you can see. It kind of fits in. I feel it's still a little bit tight. I need to put a lot more heat though. Kind of see a little bit, there is a little bit of a gap, which is good, but it's still a bit tight. I can't make any progress on that left side or the right side here, so let's see, we're making good progress. It's just taking forever, but that's all. As long as we're making progress, it really matters. So we're getting there. Let's see if I can cut this a little bit more. Oh, it's a little bit too tight. It's so thin too. If you go a little bit, it'll crack. I mean, it doesn't really necessarily matter if we crack it, but it's just nice to be a little bit more professional and just do a little bit better job, because you could just rip this whole thing off, you know, and do it, but it just looks a little bit better if we do it this way. When you heat it enough too, it starts to really slide like butter. So this whole top part's almost completely done. It's just sliding off. It's making it much easier for me. This part's a little bit tight over there, but we're just going to keep going this way because we have a pretty good heat. A little bit too much, you can see, but a little bit too much heat, you do get this little yellow tint there. So it's the problem with doing this. It's always a possibility because it needs a lot of heat. Before we do any of these service repairs, we always do tell a customer most of the time you're going to need a screen replacement as well, because it's very difficult to move this fully without any other type of damage. Heat. Okay, that part is going to be really interesting when we get down here, but I'm going to go around this way first because this looks pretty good actually over here, and this is coming off by itself. You can see again, the work just to do anything on this thing is, if you're trying to repair this, even go check the iFixit repairability scale. There's a reason they put this very low. So, because there's not a whole lot you can do. You have to move the screen to get to absolutely anything on this. And the screen is very well adhesed. You can see it's more than any type of iPad. It's more than an iMac. It's very well adhesed. Kind of cut all the adhesive that I can for now. This doesn't really glue back, because that's the thing, you don't want it to re-harden as I'm going on the bottom side here. So but I should be almost ready for the bottom here. Yeah, I don't think there's much. I think I have to just tear it down. I don't think there's much I can do here. I think this is the only way we can do it, because there is no way I can fit something in between there. I'll lightly go and see what happens. It may crack, I'm not completely sure. As you can see in here, actually in there is the last bit of adhesive. You can kind of see it, which I cut it a little bit. Just make it a little bit easier for me. I think that's as good as I'm going to get, because it is completely open now, so that's a good thing. Again, we're just worried, all we're worried about here is the hard drive. So I believe this is the hard drive underneath. I believe so. Let's just try to remove it. This is a very strange position to be doing all this, so I'm sure this is probably the first video where you see with the thing attached on. But we're here for the data, so let's just get that, because that's the most important thing. Enough to take this off so the board can get totally free. So let's see. This is all part of the board here. It's a whole line. Still has quite a bit of screws. There's just a lot of things holding this thing down. There's a lot of different things. Seems like almost everything in this whole thing is just glued in some type of way. Even the fans are here are a bit glued. They can come off. So now we do have enough exposure just to get to, the hard drive. And the hard drive is M.2, which makes sense. At least that's great. At least it's not soldered to the board. So we're just gonna go take this out. We can't easily. Probably make it easy for yourself, just detach the LCD cables. And anything else really connected to it. So we have more freedom. There we go. The board's completely free. This is kind of what we're worried about here. So let's just take this up. This casing is still kind of not the greatest here, because just to get underneath it, you don't want to snap this thing. Looks like there's a little bit of adhesive here, so lift it up a little bit so now you can pull it out. And there you go. That's how you remove the hard drive on the Surface Book after all that work. So as you can see there, we had quite a bit of trouble getting that off there. It does require a lot of heat, especially for the glass. Almost anywhere you go, it's going to be more difficult. We didn't get any chips, but of course you always have to be really careful when you're removing the glass. A lot of the heat there can affect the LCD. Most of the time when you do remove these, you might have to get another type of LCD. There's always a chance that you might have to get another LCD. Especially moving on this board and everything, you can see the work involved and how much the little details there are just to get this board off. And not only that, then to get to the price, so the NVMe here. But we were able to remove it, which is great, and we can get the data off there and transfer it just like the customer wanted. But again, it is a lot of work. Any of the Surface Books, if you need any maintenance on it, even clean the fans, put any type of thermal paste, it's going to be a lot of work just to get to that. And there are chances of you damaging another cable in there as you remove it, because you see all the cables were actually underneath there. They're going to be more, it's going to be higher just to do that. So always be careful, be very, very careful. Expect, honestly, to replace the screen when you do remove these, and to replace any other cables that you might have damaged. I would never open this unless you really had to open it. If it just totally doesn't work, and that's the only time you really should be opening these. Take it to a service spot and make sure they cover you all the way with that. So anyways, guys, I hope you enjoyed watching this Surface Book that we had to completely take up here. But we did that just to get to the hard drive, and that's important. So everyone's going to be happy in this point that we were able to get the data off and we were able to transfer everything. So anyways, guys, thanks a lot for watching. Hope you enjoyed this video. Hope this found this very, very helpful. But now you know how to open up a Surface Book, and you see the work involved in it, and you probably shouldn't be opening it at all. They're very nice machines. The Surface Book is very nice, but of course down the line, if you ever have to replace the battery, if you ever have to replace the screen, if you ever have to replace the hard drive, or you just need to get your data off in there and it's not turning on one day, you do see the work involved and how difficult it is just to remove everything. But anyways, guys, thanks a lot for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Bye.